Mortal Kombat is my favorite video game franchise of all times. And the heck, I even loved it more than the Super Mario franchise. Yeah, I know this is surprising, but just to be clear, Mario will always be my childhood, no matter what. But overall, I just like the Mortal Kombat games the best. Well, today, I just watched the brand new Mortal Kombat 2 movie. And for today's video, I'm going to be ranking the Mortal Kombat films from the best to the worst. Well, I usually start with the worst, but after seeing the movie, I feel like starting this ranking off with the positive. Well, just a little disclaimer, I am usually not a fan of the Mortal Kombat films adaptation, so I don't think all of these movies are that good. But without wasting any more time, let's get this started. Mortal Kombat 1995. Well, you saw this coming. I mean, of course, the original one is the best one because of its storytelling. Okay, well, I watched this movie for the first time with my brother and my dad, and that's only I was younger. Well, I didn't like that movie at all at first, but it did got better for me when I rewatched it at times. Shang Tsung was a threat in this movie. The characters each have their campy personality and character development, and the fight scenes are rewatchable, and Liu Kang vs. Reptile was the highlight of the action. Alright, the only problem is that the CGI is not great, and this movie was not violent, just like the games were, because this Mortal Kombat movie was PG-13, and Raiden was a bit jokey to his character. But with all that aside, this is the one terrible Mortal Kombat film that is actually good. Like, I never thought there will be a time where I come to appreciate it. So, is it a perfect Mortal Kombat film? Well, no, not really, but it is memorable. And the heck, if it weren't for this Mortal Kombat film, we wouldn't get a Mortal Kombat theme song. And with that being said, the original Mortal Kombat movie was the most memorable MK adaptation, and it remains #1 to my eyes. Mortal Kombat Legends Scorpion Revenge. Okay, I thought that movie was also decent because this movie features my favorite Mortal Kombat character, which is Scorpion. Like, I just enjoyed the hell seeing Scorpion as an anti-hero. Okay, well, the story is not great, but it's basically like the 95 Mortal Kombat film, well, except it is shorter. The plot twisting, we're feeling that Quan Chi has killed Hanzo family was well executed. Well, although the fatality, blood and gore was too overused, and this is probably the most violent out of the Mortal Kombat films, but this movie might be for you if you're a fan of Scorpion. Well, on that note, I wouldn't call it a great Mortal Kombat movie, but it was definitely a great Scorpion movie. Mortal Kombat 2. Well, to my surprise, that film really stands out my low expectation. Yeah, this is definitely my true Mortal Kombat movie, straight out of the games, and it was everything that I wanted the first movie to be like, and we will talk about the first Mortal Kombat later on the rankings. The action was packed, and it is more fast-paced, and the fights lasted longer too. Well, the acting is better this time around because the actors acting in the first movie was whatever. So yeah, that movie was a great time. They gave Katana and Johnny Cage some character development, and that's something what the Mortal Kombat films are missing since the original, and it felt like we're playing the games too, and it was pleasant. Alright, don't worry, I won't spoil anything from the movie, but I will spoil one scene from the movie, and it has something to do with this bastard. I am not a big fan of Cole Young. His was just a random character that is not from the Mortal Kombat games. Like putting a random character in a Mortal Kombat movie, that makes no sense to me. When Shao Kahn killed him off, me and my friend were screaming and clapping in theaters out of joy, and I had a video clip of the aftermath after we saw Mortal Kombat 2. Alright, cheers!
Cheers!
For Cole Young's death!
Yes, cheers! Yeah!
Don't you argue with us.
Yes, don't you argue with us.
Alright, for those who liked Cole Young in the first movie, then you are not a true fan. I am sorry. Okay, the reason why Mortal Kombat 2 was ranked in 3rd place because this movie felt like a ride. They just get straight to the fight scenes way too quickly. Like, they really fast-pace the story to get to the action as possible. Well, I don't mind it at times because I love when they do that, but the other two Mortal Kombat films that I mentioned before, it took its time to flesh out everything down to its account, and that makes Mortal Kombat 2 a simpler story in comparison. And there's also something that doesn't fit right for me. Well, if you don't know, Johnny and Sonya are a couple in the Mortal Kombat games. In Mortal Kombat 2, well, I expected Johnny to be flirty towards Sonya, but he's not. Johnny and Sonya are just good friends at best in this movie universe. Well, even Liu Kang and Katana are not together. They just barely interacted in the whole film, and well, that's disappointing. And to top it off, I thought they made Baraka a bit jokey in this movie. I mean, he was serious before he fights Johnny Cage, but when he gets defeated by Johnny Cage, he just acted like a totally different character, and it felt like we are watching a jokey MCU movie for a second. Well, it was hilarious, but I still don't like that one bit. But overall, Mortal Kombat 2, like I expected, was a lot better than the first movie, and it is pretty much better than I anticipated. Well, there may be some people that will not like it, but I don't care. Mortal Kombat 2 is the best Mortal Kombat movie since the original, 95. I would talk about this movie to death if I want to, and you know what? I wouldn't mind watching this movie the second time in theaters. Hey, maybe if I'm done making this video, I'm just going to play the Mortal Kombat's games again. Oh, and by the way, Mortal Kombat 2 gets a 9 out of 10 with no questions asked. Mortal Kombat Legends Cage Match. Okay, this is another Mortal Kombat film that I liked. They followed Johnny Cage's origin story and gave him character growth. And the action was also entertaining to see, and it is a bit bloodier than Mortal Kombat 2 to top it off. Well, anyway, there's nothing else I would say other than it was a blast. Mortal Kombat Conquest. Yeah, I know it is not a movie. It is just a 22 episode series, but I kind of prefer it as the third Mortal Kombat movie from the 90s, and I will say it's actually pretty good, not going to lie. The fight scenes are better choreographed than the 95 Mortal Kombat film. The story is decent. Look, despite all the flaws, it is pretty watchable in a entertaining standpoint. Although this show is not violent, just like in the games, but I kind of prefer it over this crappy animated cartoon Mortal Kombat series, which I don't want to talk about. Mortal Kombat Legacy. Okay, this is also a TV series, and I thought this is the worst version of Conquest. To all of the every episodes, it doesn't lead into anything really. We just get like filler episode of the character's origin story, which it doesn't get anything from the characters right, and some of the characters didn't make it to the season finale, and they just damn well got the characters wrong too. They just made Liu Kang the bad guy for no reason. Like all of these episodes and the show itself was just so short and so flat, and it just hilariously ends with a cliffhanger, and I can tell that they have no plan for another season. Alright, overall, Mortal Kombat Legacy just felt like I am watching one of Zack Snyder's films, and it really sure did felt like a Zack Snyder DC movie. Well, although the action is underrated, and it is definitely bloody, like it should be, but I have no plans to come back to this series. I bet that the Backrooms movie can be better than this, but with that being said, Mortal Kombat Legacy was pretty bad, and I don't need to say any more. Mortal Kombat 2021. Yeah, the first movie was very mediocre, in my opinion. We focus on a random, unrelated Mortal Kombat character, which is Cole Young, and like I said, I don't give a crap about him. He's just not interesting, and even my friend is not into him, as you can see. Well, it's not only that, this movie just got everything wrong from the Mortal Kombat games in general. Like, there's no tournament involved. There was a tournament in the second movie, at least, but the first one, it was a Mortal Kombat movie without a tournament, and that is just not good. Well, I thought my favorite character, Scorpion, was pretty wasted in that movie. We get an origin story where he fights Sub-Zero and dies, but didn't come back until the climax. Well, even Scorpion didn't have enough screen time in the second movie. He just didn't show up until the last second, and that's another thing what the sequel should make up for. And this movie did not get any of the characters right, like Molina as a example. Molina from the Mortal Kombat games, she had such a playful personality that makes her unpredictable, but in the live-action movie version, she's just a generic assassin with no personality. Well, the only character was done right was Kano, and he was the best character in the first movie. Well, I was not impressed with Shang Tsung as well. In the 1995 MK film, he was intimidating, especially in that opening scene. He was scary from that part, but in this film, this version of Shang Tsung does not hold as a threat. And the heck, we don't even get to fight him at the end of the movie. Instead, we end up fighting Sub-Zero at the end of the movie, even though he is not the final boss. The second movie actually feels like a Mortal Kombat tournament and the games itself, and we get to face the final boss at the end of the movie at least. Alright, the only good thing that ever comes out from the 2021 Mortal Kombat films was the fight scenes and the blood and gore. I mean, for what it's worth, they did get some of the source materials and the fatalities right, but I wish that the villains would have their chance to do a fatality and not just the Earthrealm's heroes. But thank God I got that from the sequel. Alright, overall, this movie was a perfect example of a wasted potential. Well, if you like this movie, then cool, but that's not going to change my mind. And this is why Mortal Kombat 2 is the superior movie. But just be grateful that this film is not on last place, because there are some other MK films that is far worse. Mortal Kombat Snowblind. Okay, watching this the first time, I thought it wasn't that bad. But then, this movie did got worse for me in my second viewing. In fact, I saw this movie the second time with my friend one time, and even he didn't like it. Well, for how the story goes, I thought it was just fine, but in execution, it makes no sense. Like, I just don't feel like explaining how absurd it was. Like, I just came out so overwhelmed, and this movie even had a pretty bad ending, but it is nothing compared to Mortal Kombat Legends Battle of the Realms. Okay, I was mixed with this movie after watching it, and after thinking about it for a long time, I decided I didn't like it as much I did anymore. This movie is supposed to be a adaptation to Mortal Kombat 2, because Scorpion Revenge was based off the first game, but instead, it was just the second game mixed with the third game and the fourth. Like, after defeating Shao Kahn, they just took the trip to Earthrealm to stop Shinnok, and the execution makes no sense, and the characters just made so many dumb decisions. Like, Raiden just stupidly give up his powers just to compete at the tournament, and as a result getting killed by Shao Kahn because he just made a one stupid decision. You know what, whatever. I just always considered Battle of the Realms to be my worst Mortal Kombat movie. Well, that's until I remembered that Annihilation was made. Okay, for those who doesn't like that movie, you probably saw that coming. I feel like there's not much to explain about this movie. The CGI is worse than the first movie. The story doesn't make any sense. Like the fact that Scorpion just came back when Johnny killed him off in the first movie. Like the CGI in this movie was so bad that my eyes just literally burns, and it freaking hurt so dang much. Like, it was such a nightmare, and I was even more overwhelmed for what they did to Melina in this movie. Like, everything was such a piece of crap, terrible video games movie I have seen. Not only Annihilation is the worst MK movie and the worst video games movie, it is also by far one of the worst movies I ever seen in my life. Well, if you never saw this Mortal Kombat movie in your life, then I would recommend staying away from it at all times, because they even killed off Johnny Cage in the beginning of the film. So yeah, Mortal Kombat Annihilation is the worst Mortal Kombat movie of all times. End of story. And that was it for this rankings, guys. Well, I gotta say, it was a good time making this video, just like it was a good time watching Mortal Kombat 2. Well, if you enjoyed this video, and you're a huge fan of Mortal Kombat, just like I am, make sure to like and subscribe to my channel. My name is Isaiah Belfort, and as you can excuse me, I am about to play the games again. Alright, let's go.
Cheers.